It's Wednesday, time for Grace Points. So one of my favorite people in the Bible is Peter. Yeah, Peter. Peter has a lot of issues. I love him because he's so flawed. I love him because he walks with Jesus and talks with Jesus and has this experience with Christ, and he is still flawed. He still has some issues he has to work through. In fact, the issues are so great that Jesus actually says to Peter, Peter, when you're converted. That Peter has issues with his temper, with other people, with all sorts of stuff, and Jesus still chooses him for his inner circle. In fact, John chapter 22, verse 32 says, Jesus says to Peter, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Peter's going to mess up multiple times. He's going to get it wrong, but Jesus knows something Peter doesn't know. Jesus knows that eventually Peter's going to get it. That eventually, that 3.5 years of walking and doing ministry together, eventually it's going to sink in, and Peter's going to get it. You ever feel like you're failing? You ever feel like throwing in the towel, like just accepting spiritual defeat because being holy, being Christ-like is too difficult and being sinful is too natural? The beauty of all of this is knowing that if you keep walking with Jesus, if you keep studying the Word and letting the Holy Spirit do His perfect work inside, Jesus knows something you don't know. He knows that eventually you're going to figure this out. He knows that eventually your character is going to catch up to your calling, and you'll be walking with Him and talking with Him, and you won't even realize how much you've grown. He realizes that eventually, if you keep walking with Jesus, this whole work of sanctification, that work of a lifetime, is going to show its perfect fruit in your life. For a Christian to walk with God, for us to know Jesus, to walk with Jesus, this whole idea of being Christ-like is not a question of if it'll ever happen, it's a question of when. And for us, hope hinges on one word, when, not if. In fact, Philippians tells us that he who began a good work in you is going to be faithful to complete it until the return of Jesus, until Jesus returns again. That is exciting for me because it reminds me that he is still working, that I am not finished and I can't throw in the towel. Eventually, my character is going to catch up to my calling. When we were children, we would sing, "He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. Took him just a week to make the moon and stars. The sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars, how loving and patient he's got to be, because he's still working on me. And he's still working on you too. So trust him. Trust that it's not a question of if you'll begin to live and look and act like Jesus. But when you let the Holy Spirit have his way and you keep studying the Word, it's a question of when. That's hope enough for me. This is Grace Points. God bless you.